Hi guys! Today we are going to be reading another version of The Little Red Hen. This one is also the classic story, The Little Red Hen, but there are some differences from the version that we read yesterday. This one is retold by one of my favorite authors and illustrators. His name is Paul Galdone, and he does a lot of like fairy tale type books. And I really like the way he draws the pictures. So let's get right into it. I like looking at this. Right here at the front we have a page that says The Little Red Hen, and it shows her working. You can see she's hanging up laundry to dry after she's washed it, and she is all by herself working. There are some chipmunks up here, but there's nobody helping her do her work. Alrighty. This is kind of a cool illustration to look at too. It kind of gives you an idea of who lives in this house. We have a house right here, and on here we have 4 mailboxes. And the first mailbox has a cat drawn on it. This one has a dog. This one has a little mouse. And here we have a hen. So I think that's kind of fun to look at. Once upon a time, a cat and a dog and a mouse and a little red hen all lived together in a cozy little house. The cat liked to sleep all day on the soft couch. Now look at this cat. You can see that he is having a dream, and it looks to me like he's dreaming about canned sardines, which are tiny little fish. I think he's dreaming of something he wants to eat. The dog liked to nap all day on the sunny back porch. And here we see the dog, and look in his dream. He's dreaming of a bone. And the mouse liked to snooze all day in a warm chair by the fireside. And of course, that mousie is dreaming about cheese. So the little red hen had to do all of the housework. She cooked all the meals and washed the dishes and made the beds. She swept the floors and washed the windows and mended the clothes. That is a lot of work. She raked the leaves and mowed the grass and hoed the garden. One day when she was hoeing the garden, she found some grains of wheat. "Who will help me plant this wheat?" cried the little red hen. "Not I," said the cat. "Not I," said the dog. "Not I," said the mouse. Looks to me like they're too busy sleeping. "Then I will," said the little red hen, and she did. Each morning the little red hen watered the wheat and pulled the weeds. Soon the wheat pushed through the ground and began to grow tall. When the wheat was ripe, the little red hen asked, "Who will cut this wheat?" "Not I," said the cat. "Not I," said the dog. "Not I," said the mouse. "Well, then I will," said the little red hen, and she did. Now this is kind of a fun page to look at because first of all, I like how Paul Galdone drew the faces of the animals in the word not. He used that "oh" in a really interesting way. And over here you can see a tool in the hen's hand. That's an old-fashioned tool that they had a big blade on it. That's how they used to cut wheat before tractors were invented. When the wheat was all cut, the little red hen asked, "Now, who will take this wheat to the mill to be ground into flour?" "Not I," said the cat. "Not I," said the dog. "Not I," said the mouse. "Then I will," said the little red hen, and she did. The little red hen returned from the mill carrying a small bag of fine white flour. "Who will make a cake from this fine white flour?" asked the little red hen. "Not I," said the cat. "Not I," said the dog. "Not I," said the mouse. "Then I will," said the little red hen, and she did. She gathered sticks and made a fire in the stove. Then she took the milk and the sugar and eggs and butter and mixed them in a big bowl with the fine white flour. When the oven was hot, she poured the cake batter into a shining pan and she put it in the oven. Now this is kind of a cool illustration too because this is not what the oven at my house looks like. This is an old-fashioned oven. Look at that. You'd build a fire in that part and get it hot, and then you'd be able to heat it up and bake it. Maybe the fire went in a different spot, but anyway. Soon a delicious smell filled the cozy little house. The cat got off her soft couch and strolled into the kitchen. The dog got up from his sunny back porch and came into the kitchen. The mouse jumped down from his warm chair and scampered into the kitchen. The little red hen was just taking a beautiful cake out of the oven. Who will eat this cake? Asked the little red hen. I will, cried the cat. I will, cried the dog. I will, cried the mouse. But the little red hen said, all by myself I planted the wheat, I tended the wheat, I cut the wheat, I took the wheat to the mill to be ground into flour. All by myself I gathered the sticks, I built the fire, I mixed the cake, and all by myself I am going to eat it. And so she did, to the very last crumb. After that, whenever there was work to be done, the little red hen had 3 very eager helpers. Now look, here we have the dog, and he's carrying his broom, and the cat has the dustpan, and the mouse has a duster, and it looks like they are all being very helpful now. I think they learned their lesson. Now, I wanted to just talk to you a minute about how the book I read yesterday and the book I read today are both the same story, The Little Red Hen, but there are some things that are different, and I think it's so fun to look at the same story told by different authors and see what the differences are. You can tell that there's difference just by the way they were drawn. The illustrations look a little different, but also in this one, do you guys remember what she used the flour to make? It shows a picture. She made a loaf of bread in this story, but the one we just read, remember what she made? She made a delicious cake. So that's an interesting difference. And in this story, her friends are a cat and a dog and a mouse. But do you remember who her friends were in this story? In this story, her friends were a cat and a pig and a duck. So I think that that's kind of an interesting difference. And do you guys remember that she actually did share her bread with someone? So with some 3, she shared it with her babies. And in this one, do you remember any babies? Anyway, it's so fun to look at the differences and the things that are the same in stories like this. Tomorrow we'll be reading another version of The Little Red Hen that is quite a bit different. So I hope that you look forward to that. Okay, thanks guys.